tell me, what is the opposite of being caught up in a story? How are you existing in the world?
Paying attention to what's really happening around you. Like really being open to experiencing exactly what's there. Not what you think's going to be there, not what you expect to be there, not any of the other things that are distracting you in your mind, but really what's there. What is the surface of this desk that I'm touching? The temperature, maybe my feet are cold, but my armpits are hot. You know, all of the different intricacies of that particular moment. It's not about how inventive we can be, but how much we can notice everything around us. And that includes the humans and what they're saying and how they're being and how we are reacting to one another.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sacred Stories of the Spirit. Today I am in conversation with Mienke Richter. She is a mediator and also an advocate, otherwise known as a barrister, and a yoga teacher as well. She's based in South Africa and she uses thought work, breath work and somatic tools all day, every day to function and thrive in her reality. Today we're talking about the benefit of understanding the impact of stories, the stories that we tell ourselves and the stories that we choose to believe. So welcome to this episode. I hope you enjoy it. I found Mienke an incredibly beautiful person to talk to and I loved a really rich conversation. So let's dive in. Well, hi Mienke. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Hi, Jordan. Thank you so much for having me. How am I today? Oh, it's a cold winter's day in South Africa.
Okay.
I'm shivering.
You're rugged up. So listen, I'm so pleased to have the chance to talk to you because you have got such an interesting portfolio of skills and kind of career elements and practice. So you are an advocate of the High Court of South Africa. Tell me what that is and what a day in the life of Mienke looks when you're in that role.
An advocate is similar to what the United Kingdom would refer to as a barrister. We represent companies and individuals in court, anything to do with litigation, argument, and litigious argument. We're considered specialists in that field, in the litigious field of law. And day to day, if I'm not in court, then a lot of it is editing Word documents, really, nothing too flashy, just preparing argument, doing research, reading a lot. My practice at the moment is mainly focused on mediation, so less of the like fighting, acrimonious type stuff, but more getting parties to communicate effectively. So even parties who are in dispute and in that, one of my trainers used to call it their brains are on fire when you're just angry and you're just steeped in that dispute mentality, and getting people in that kind of situation to effectively communicate together and find a solution to their problem instead of having a court tell them what to do.
But you're not only are you in the practice of law, but you're a yoga teacher. So how do those two things converge in your professional practice?
For the longest time, I really think they didn't, or I had this separation in my mind of this is how one world looks and this is how a different world looks, and I was really struggling to reconcile that those two realities exist in the same time.
Yeah.
But after really getting into mediation and understanding almost like the psychology behind law and how it is the way that we have all chosen to regulate one another. Yes, coming into this society, law has been there for a long time, etc., etc., and you just fall into it. But really, from the beginning, law is how the people have decided to regulate each other. And every time that we contribute to case law or to commentary, we choose how to regulate one another and in what style we want to do it.
Wow. I resonate with this idea of thinking that you have to have these buckets. So one part of your life is over here and one part of your life is over here. And I've had the same thing. What kind of allowed you to be able to create a world where they coexisted and one informed and supported the other? I mean, was it a kind of a light bulb moment or was it a gradual evolution of your own practice?
It was a gradual evolution until one day I just woke up and I realized what had unfolded and how almost just perfectly it did, and it just made so much sense. It just made so much sense to bring them together in mediation, and something that, especially in South Africa, is so necessary.
Interesting. When you spoke about the practice of law being how we regulate one another. I
Mhm.
think what you meant was how we regulate, I guess, each other in the legal sense. But actually, I automatically went to the regulation that we get through the physical practice of yoga as well, which is kind of a mental and physical regulation. So, in your mind, are they all one and the same, or had you meant one or the other?
In my mind and in the mind of many great writers, it is very, very, very similar. I was in an admission court last week, and one of the judges quoted from Barack Obama's memoir, and his view about law, although there's so many notable quotes from the piece, is that it is a record of a nation arguing with its consciousness. So
Interesting.
how, when I heard that, it just blew my mind. I've been
Yeah.
thinking about it ever since. So yes, it is how we like regulations regulate one another and make rules, but that is in order to create safety amongst one another. Its primary focus is to create safety amongst one another so we can operate and all know the rules of the game. And similar in like regulating your body in yoga is you create that safety in yourself and allow yourself the time and space to balance everything that needs balancing. So it's both, yes, and I guess.
Yes. Yes, and yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Now, when I was reading a little bit about you and reading your bios, you talked not just about breath work, but about thought work. So tell me what that is.
Thought work is the work of, I think it's Byron Katie from her book entitled The Work. I could be
Yeah.
mistaken here, but I've done a bit of work with like business coaches and menstrual cycle coaches to using thought work and the model, which I'll explain in a second, to manage my mind and to understand the way that my thoughts work, how they're motivated, how they show up in my body. And then in that distance, when I can see a thought within a circumstance, I have the ability to choose. Do I want to continue thinking this thing and then leading to a specific result, or do I want to change the result with a number of, I mean, a lot of people call them mantras, but really they're like just like really intentional thinking.
Yes.
Does that make any sense?
That's it does. And it's a lovely it's a thought that we can empower ourselves to look at a thought that surfaces and consider it, but
Hmm.
decide to put it aside or to adjust or adapt it and not just get carried away with the thought and let it take over. It's kind of an
Yes,
intersection. It's a
exactly.
moment, isn't it?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can choose to
lovely.
believe them or not. It's not like you don't think it and then it's fact.
Yes, yes. And
You can,
I wonder how many of us, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this in terms of how this plays out in your work. How many people can you see just with these thoughts kind of, they're just turning into reality. They think them and then they are that.
the witnessing that self-created suffering is like hilarious in one sense because we all do it. But also it's really, really interesting in the other sense to see someone go through that and also create exactly what they're complaining about for years and years and years.
I was talking with someone about this the other day and they were saying, well, yes, the universe conspires to support you. So whatever you want, it'll give you. And it's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. I love this idea of self-created suffering because it brings the ownership back to us, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we have that choice. Okay, don't get me wrong, it's a skill. It's a skill that you have to learn and it's not easy and you have to put in the yards to like do it and for years before anything changes, or at least that's in my experience. It's something you really have to work at. But it is a choice to believe those things. We get to choose what we want.
Yeah, exactly. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? I think
Yes,
it
yes,
changes
it is.
everything. I think it is that powerful. It just changes everything.
It's changed everything in my practice. Like in my legal practice, there was one way of doing it, and I was taught that way, and this is how you should do it. And for a number of reasons, that didn't really work for me. It didn't suit
Yeah.
me, it didn't suit my lifestyle, it didn't suit my priorities, it just didn't work with me. So the idea that was taught to me is if you don't do it this way, it won't be successful. If you do it any other way except the one way that we've shown you how to do it,
Yeah.
it won't work. And in that distance between, oh, I get to choose to believe that or not, I was able to set up a practice that works in my terms.
And I wonder if there's also something in this idea that we try to avoid suffering. So we try to move away from it. Whereas, if there is an experience where it's not necessarily self-created, but we are suffering, we still don't
Mm.
like it. But is there a better way to experience suffering, do you think, that we can actually sit with it, embody it, and then release it?
Yes, yes. To kind of recognize and take ownership of it and sit in the acceptance of what's happening is a really nice way to allow it to process through you. The fact that we stray away from suffering is really about the discomfort that it takes to sit in it. And that's the same with any kind of quote unquote negative or low vibration emotion. But understanding that that's like another color in the palette of life. Who was it?
Mm,
David Wyatt that spoke about it like that, that sadness is just another color, like a blue or a green, the way that the sunshine is the yellow.
yes. Um, this is my line of thinking at the moment
Hmm.
in 2025. Excuse me,
Hmm.
is that we do create our own world. We do create our own reality. We can choose to suffer or not suffer. But if we do create a scenario where there is suffering, it's not necessarily a bad thing. There's something to be learned. There's something to be gained, but we don't
Yes.
have to stay in it. We can go through the process and then we can release it. So I suppose I'm interested to know if that resonates with you and if you think people maybe get stuck in this idea that we have to hang on to it or actually we can let it go when it's time. We don't have to be that way for all time.
Yes, yes, absolutely. There's something quite distracting about suffering. So if you do have something that you would rather be distracted by, and choosing suffering can be a way of like putting blinkers on, that you don't
Mm,
have to see what's going on around you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. If you apply the growth mindset to anything, you can learn through it, but there's definitely a sense of getting stuck in it
mm.
sometimes. Like the I was having a discussion with one of my colleagues not too long ago about only experiencing the learning if there has been a significant amount of suffering. So you only allow yourself to receive a lesson once you've suffered enough for it. It's like
Ah,
working. It's like
yeah, you have
earning
to
it.
earn it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that that's I
Hilarious, I
think that
know.
that's really that's yeah, I think we feel like we have to earn the lesson, don't we? Maybe we don't have to work that hard. Maybe maybe we can it can be easier. That's really interesting. Thank you. So, Minka, this is my
Mhm.
quick five section, and I like to ask these questions to everyone. But the first question is, what is one practice that's changed your life?
Yoga. It has to be. It has to be yoga. Yeah,
Yeah,
just daily move or consistent movement. Nothing ever happens daily, but consistent movement.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And what is one story that you used to tell about yourself that you've now been able to release?
Oh, I used to tell people that I was a terrible student. I even told a judge once that I was a terrible student, and it's not actually true. It's not actually true.
Yeah, what made you kind of shake yourself out of that story and go, hang on, I'm not going to say that anymore?
I love to learn. I'm the best version of myself when I'm learning. I love it. It keeps me interested. It keeps me engaged. And I think maybe I was scared to admit it when I was younger that I love to learn.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, thank you. I'm
Mhm.
pausing because I think that there's a lot in that. I think it's interesting that some of the things that we're embarrassed about admitting because loving learning is beautiful thing. So it's funny that we would ever think that that's embarrassing, but when you're younger, it's different anyway, isn't it? Life's different. Yeah. What's your favorite daily ritual?
Hmm. This is getting sun in my eyes in the morning. Within
Yeah.
like half an hour, 40 minutes of waking up, thanks to the human lab, he suggested it. I did it once and I can just feel every time like the breath and everything.
Yes.
I can feel myself syncing up with whatever's going on around
Everything.
us.
Yeah. And so, what's your favorite place to be on any given day?
In the mountains.
Yes.
Hmm.
Beautiful. High up
Hmm.
or low down, or it doesn't matter.
The higher, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And what is the most surprising lesson that working in the justice space has taught you about yourself?
Sure, what a question. I guess what it's taught me is that I can really trust myself, that there's a sense of inherent integrity that I'm deeply connected to, and I can really trust that. because hilariously, there's not a lot of that in the.
Yeah, no, that's really beautiful. Thank you. And what a lovely thing to be able to land in oneself. That's gorgeous. Thank you. So, Mienke, let's talk about stories. You must exist in the world of story a lot in your legal work, and you must see a lot of play out in the space of personal stories and personal narratives. Where have you seen this benefit people, and where have you seen it potentially work to their detriment?
I'm struggling to think about at least one time that it benefited anyone. I'm going to keep thinking about that, but we can go straight to when it has been a disadvantage. To be caught up, I do a lot of family law, a lot of like divorce law, child custody, child maintenance, guardianship, stuff like that. And for the parents to be almost trapped in the way that they perceive things are going on, which is quite colored by all of their insecurities, all of their fears, all of that is like has been significantly detrimental to their children. And I've seen it play out in like many, many, many families where being almost relentless and stubborn and not wanting to let go of that personal story has caused psychological damage to the children. But on the other hand, when you see people almost let go of that and land in the moment that they're in, because in theirs, it's not story, it's just we're all right here. We're not in the past, we're not in the future, we're not up and down, we're not in someone else's business, whatever, we're right here. Then the children can see it's almost like modeled behavior for children in conflict that you can still be like an integrated human being and connecting with other integrated human beings and talking to each other effectively. So I can't say that I've seen anyone benefit from being caught up in their stories, but I've definitely seen a lot of damage from it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it just that shift sounded so powerful, even when you were just describing it. So I wonder, is there anything that you can say or any recommendations that you can share that would help people to be able to be aware of how that can be playing out in their own lives? Like how can a story that you're carrying actively be detrimental in something, whether it's conflict or trying to get through something onto the other side?
You can see it in the way that you communicate with other people. So if you just pay attention to yourself, pay attention to your body, pay attention to your tone and your language, it's very telling about where you are in your mind. If you are quick to react, quick to knee jerk against anything, then you know that's probably a good tell that you're not present in the moment, but you're caught up and down somewhere in a story. And then from there, it's up to you. You can focus on breath, you can look around you, you can hug a human.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so what is the opposite? Tell me once more, maybe in a more generic sense, what is the opposite of being caught up in a story? How are you existing in the world?
Paying attention to what's really happening around you. Like really being open to experiencing exactly what's there. Not what you think's going to be there, not what you expect to be there, not any of the other things that are distracting you in your mind, but really what's there. What is the surface of this desk that I'm touching? The temperature, maybe my feet are cold, but my armpits are hot. All of the different intricacies of that particular moment. It's not about how inventive we can be, but how much we can notice everything around us. And that includes the humans and what they're saying and how they're being and how we are reacting to one another.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Mienke. I think that's a really kind of lovely way to think about things and valid in every context. We can all land in the moment and be more observational and sense into what we're seeing. So thank you. Tell me, do you have things coming up for you at the moment, or where can people find you and find out more about what you're up to?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Advocate Mienke Richter. You can also find me on my website, advocateminkerrichter.co.za. I teach yoga on a Wednesday at my local climbing gym.
Fantastic.
Come and find me there.
Well, thank you, Mienke, so much. I hope you get lots more climbs and mountain adventures, and thank you for all the rich wisdom that you brought to our conversation today.
Thank you for doing this, Jordan. It's a really phenomenal addition.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed my conversation with Mienke today. I think she's an incredible person, so grounded and thoughtful. So I feel very very appreciative of these wonderful conversations that I get to have through this podcast, that I get to share with you. Next week is no different. I'm speaking with another incredible human being. Her name is Mari. Mari Angelo is a purpose-driven marketer, publisher and executive coach. We're talking about Mari's work at the intersection of advocacy, media and healing, leading strategic campaigns for authors, nonprofits and social movements across the US and internationally. So please join me for the episode. It's a lovely conversation. So see you back there. So enjoy yourself and your week. In the meantime, take good care. And my name's Jordan. Thanks for listening. I hope you're enjoying the Sacred Stories of the Spirit podcast, a place where we get to dig deeper into our stories and explore how they can both help and hinder us. To explore more episodes, show notes and information about our guests and the themes that we explore, visit sacredstoriesofthespirit.com.